the Vance family had an unspoken rule. Catherine was never allowed a guest. This year, that rule would break. She walked up the driveway alone, her dark coat pulled tight against the December chill.
Catherine, finally. We thought you'd forgotten the time.
The roads were slick. I came as quickly as I could.
Well, you are here. No plus ones, as always. You know the rule.
Still alone, Cat? Some things never change.
William, in his recliner, turned a page of the newspaper, refusing to look up or speak.
I've endured worse than their barbs. Let them have their fun.
On her wrist, the heavy black military issue watch ticked with a precision that didn't belong in this house. The foyer felt colder than the snow outside. Christmas had only started, and already the weight was unbearable. They moved to the dining room, where the table gleamed with crystal and candlelight. But the warmth stopped at the surface. Patricia carved the turkey, her knife slicing with practiced precision. She placed the driest, whitest slab onto Catherine's plate.
White meat for you. We don't want you overindulging. You know how hard it is to lose weight after 30.
Thank you, Mother.
Did I mention I am up for partner next month? Greg and I just closed on the new house in Arlington. What about your little desk job, Catherine? Still stamping papers?
Something like that. It keeps me busy.
William pushed his peas around the plate, not lifting his eyes. The clink of his fork was the only sound he made.
Honestly, Catherine, when will you settle down? A woman your age shouldn't be wasting her best years.
Catherine's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Outside, the snow began to fall harder, blanketing the driveway in silence. Catherine placed her fork beside her plate and stood. The table paused, a flicker of surprise crossing Patricia's face.
Excuse me. I'll just be a moment.
In the hallway, the wall clock read 7:18. She pulled a slim black device from her pocket. No civilian would recognize it. The screen flashed, code red. WHMO authenticates. Report to NCR immediately. Acknowledge.
Code red. The president's call. She had less than an hour to extract without raising a single alarm.
She tucked the phone away, smoothed her coat collar, and walked back toward the warmth of the dining room as if nothing had happened.
Nicole was just telling us about her new role. Lead partner by spring. Imagine that.
And the firm is sending Greg and me to Maui for Christmas next year. First class, of course.
That sounds lovely, Nicole. You've earned it.
But her mind was running contingency routes. The clock on the wall seemed louder now, each tick a countdown.
Catherine, clear the table. Your sister and I have important matters to discuss. Don't dawdle.
She rose obediently as the others withdrew to the living room, abandoning her to the scattered plates and half-empty glasses.
Keep your head down. The clock is ticking. Just get through this.
From the living room, their lowered voices carried clearly through the archway.
She'll never amount to anything. 40 years old and still pushing papers in some back office.
It's embarrassing, Mother. At least she's quiet about her failures.
Catherine's hands stilled over the plates, a single tremor betraying her composure.
A disappointment. That's all they see. Not tonight. Tonight I'll show them what quiet really means.
Her expression hardened, the hurt calcifying into something cold and unbreakable. She finished clearing the table in silence, the clink of porcelain masking the steady countdown in her head. In the kitchen, the device in her pocket pulsed again, shorter, sharper than before. Flash traffic. WHMO confirms. ETA 42 minutes. Asset extraction on ground at 1900 hours. Do not delay.
42 minutes. She'd have to leave within 10. No room for a scene.
She pocketed the phone and returned to the living room, where their laughter lingered like smoke.
I am going to step outside for a moment. Get some air.
Air? It's 20 degrees out there. Sit down and stop being so peculiar.
Probably hoping to escape the cleanup. You always were allergic to work, weren't you?
I won't be long. I just need to clear my head.
She turned toward the foyer, reaching for her wool coat hanging by the door, their scoffs chasing her. The clock struck 7:32 as she opened the door a crack, icy air biting her face, a welcome reprieve. Before she could step outside, Nicole slid between her and the door. Arms crossed, a cruel smile playing on her lips.
Where do you think you are going? Running away from another failure. That's your specialty, isn't it?
Honestly, Catherine, your career is laughable. Don't pretend you have anywhere important to be. Sit down and be useful.
I just need some fresh air. I'll be back before dessert.
Dessert? You'll probably disappear like you did at Thanksgiving. Always slinking off when there's actual work to do.
William shifted in his chair, his gaze lifting for the first time all evening, an unease settling into the lines of his face.
Don't engage. They want a reaction. Just get past them. The mission is all that matters. Nicole, please move. I won't be long.
Or what? You'll call your imaginary important friends?
Catherine's eyes hardened, but she remained still. The room hung on a knife's edge, her composure a wall they couldn't breach. 2 blocks away, a black military sedan turned onto Evergreen Lane, its headlights cutting through the thickening snow. Inside, Captain Marcus Cole checked his watch, 1900 hours sharp. He adjusted the gold aiguette on his shoulder.
We're on schedule. The bird is prepped. Lieutenant Colonel Vance better be ready.
In the frozen park behind the elementary school, Marine One sat on the field, its rotors already slicing the air with a low thrum. The ground crew had cleared a landing zone in record time. The president's call waited for no one. Back inside the Vance house, Catherine felt the faint vibration of the helicopter's engine through the walls, a sound only she would recognize. Her eyes flicked toward the front door. Something was coming. She could feel it.
They're here. Right on time. Just a few more seconds.
Patricia, oblivious, was still lecturing her about wasted potential, but Catherine's focus had narrowed to a single point of entry. Outside, Captain Cole mounted the porch steps, the brass White House badge catching the porch light as he raised his gloved hand. Patricia raised her wine glass, her voice dripping with false sweetness. A toast to family. She looked pointedly at Nicole and William, deliberately skipping Catherine.
To family. Those who matter anyway.
Catherine's secure phone vibrated insistently against her hip, the pattern unmistakable. Final countdown. Asset on ground. 2 minutes. Acknowledge.
No more waiting. Time to move.
She stood abruptly, cutting off Nicole mid-laugh. Excuse me, I need the hallway.
Look at that, Mother. She's finally decided to hide properly.
Let her go. More dessert for us. She never appreciates a good meal.
Catherine stepped into the hallway, the warmth of the living room replaced by a cold draft from the front door. She stood in silence, heart steady. Behind her, the family's muffled laughter echoed, a sound she'd long stopped trying to be part of. The doorbell shattered the silence, a deep chime that cut through the laughter like a blade.
Who on earth would call at this hour? It's Christmas, for heaven's sake.
Nicole darted to the curtain and peeked out. Her face lost its smugness instantly.
There's a man in uniform out there. A soldier. What does he want?
Catherine was already at the door, her hand steady on the knob. She didn't hesitate. The door swung open. Cold air rushed in, carrying the scent of jet fuel and winter. Captain Marcus Cole stood at attention, his Service Alpha uniform crisp, the presidential seal gleaming on his chest. From the living room, the family stared, a frozen tableau of confusion and disbelief. Catherine met the Marine's gaze. The world outside had come to claim her, and she was ready. The room held its breath. In the silence, the distant thrum of Marine One's rotors became unmistakable. Captain Cole snapped a crisp salute, his eyes never leaving Catherine's face.
Lieutenant Colonel Vance, the President requires you aboard Marine One. 18 minutes, ma'am.
Catherine returned the salute with practiced ease, her spine straightening into a posture they'd never seen.
Thank you, Captain. I'll be with you shortly.
Nicole's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. William rose from his chair, his face ashen.
Lieutenant Colonel? That's impossible. Catherine, what kind of joke is this?
We have a national security situation, ma'am. The director sends his regards.
Catherine nodded, stepping across the threshold. The family remained frozen, their world tilting on an axis they didn't know existed.
I'll explain later. Right now, my country needs me.
She followed Captain Cole into the snow, leaving behind a silence louder than any of her mother's insults. Patricia recovered from her shock and rushed onto the porch, her heels clicking on the icy wood.
Catherine, stop this. You will not walk away without telling me what is going on. Who do you really work for?
Ma'am, this is a matter of national security. I must ask you to step aside.
Mother, please. I don't have time for this right now. I'll call you when I can.
Patricia planted herself in the doorway, arms outstretched, blocking the narrow path. The snow swirled around her, but she didn't flinch.
Mom, what are you doing? She's clearly, whoever she is.
Catherine, please, just explain. We're your family.
Sir, I must remind you that obstructing a federal operation is a serious offense. Your daughter is needed by the president.
President? I don't care. She is my daughter, and she owes me an answer before she walks out.
Catherine's face remained calm, but her jaw was set. The helicopter's engines grew louder behind them, a steady heartbeat in the cold night. She was running out of time. Catherine stepped forward and placed a gentle but unyielding hand on her mother's arm, guiding her to the side.
I have to go, Mother. Don't make this harder.
Captain Cole gestured toward the waiting sedan, its engine already humming in the street.
Right, this way, ma'am.
As she moved past, William's voice trembled from the doorway.
Catherine, what is all this? What have you been doing all these years?
She paused, turning her head just enough to catch his eyes, a flicker of something like regret crossing her face. But she didn't answer. Couldn't. The clock was ticking, and the president was waiting. She followed the Marine down the snowy path, the sedan's lights cutting through the dark. The family stood on the porch, a portrait of disbelief, as the sound of Marine One grew ever closer. Patricia tore off the porch, her holiday heels sinking into the snow, her voice a desperate shriek.
Catherine, you can't just walk away. What do you do that's so important?
Captain Cole increased his pace, positioning himself between Catherine and the approaching chaos. Catherine's boots left deep tracks in the fresh powder, her breath steady, her focus unbreakable. Behind them, Nicole grabbed William's arm as he stumbled on the icy pavement, his breath ragged with shock.
Dad, careful. I can't. I don't understand any of this.
Ahead, the field opened up, and there it was, Marine One descending, its rotors a thunderous roar, searchlights slicing the snowfall. Catherine paused at the edge of the landing zone, the wind whipping her coat open to reveal the glint of metals beneath. Patricia, gasping, reached the perimeter, her scream lost in the engine's roar, but her face said everything. The Marine turned, his expression unreadable, and gestured toward the open door of Marine One. They were out of time. Catherine stopped at the helicopter's steps and turned to face her mother, the rotor wash plastering her coat against her uniform.
You never asked before. In 39 years, not once. Why start now?
Patricia's mouth opened, but no sound came, just a sputter of snow and disbelief.
Ma'am, we are past 0 hour. The president is waiting.
Catherine's eyes held Patricia's for one more heartbeat, a silent accusation, a final cut. Then she nodded. She turned her back and ascended the steps without a backward glance.
You'll regret this, Catherine. You'll see. Family is all that matters.
Catherine paused for a fraction of a second, then continued inside, the Marine pulling the door shut behind her. The rotors thundered, drowning out Patricia's shrieks and Nicole's sobs, until only the furious wind remained. In the cabin, Catherine strapped in, her face illuminated by the green glow of a classified tablet. She was already somewhere else. The helicopter's wheels left the snow, and the Marine stepped back from the turbulent rotor wash. Patricia lunged forward, her fingers digging into Captain Cole's arm before he could retreat.
Tell me, what does she do? I have a right to know.
Ma'am, your daughter is entrusted with the highest levels of national security. She is needed to authenticate critical decisions, decisions that affect millions of lives.
Authenticate? What does that mean? She's a paper pusher.
Critical decisions. What kind of decisions, please? We're her parents.
I am not at liberty to say more, sir, but your daughter is a vital asset to this nation. Now, I must rejoin my principal. Good evening.
He strode toward the hovering helicopter and climbed inside. The family's unanswered shouts, swallowed by the engine roar. The Vance family stumbled to the edge of the field as the helicopter hovered, its open door a dark portal above the snow.
What do you carry that's so damned important? Catherine? Answer me?
Inside the cabin, Catherine's hand stopped mid-motion on the door frame. She turned her head, her expression unreadable. The Marine's radio crackled sharply. Nighthawk status, time critical. Over. Captain Cole turned from the radio, his gaze falling on the family huddled in the snow. His jaw set. Through the swirling snow, he saw Patricia's tear-streaked face, William's trembling hands, Nicole's desperate stare. Catherine met the Marine's eyes for the briefest moment, then gave a single, almost imperceptible nod. He stepped to the very edge of the door, one hand gripping the frame, the wind whipping his uniform. He looked directly at Patricia, and the noise of the rotors seemed to quiet for a heartbeat. And then, with a voice that cut through the thunder, he began to speak the words that would shatter their world.
Ma'am, your daughter carries the football.
Patricia's brow furrowed, her mouth forming the words silently. Football. The wind stole her whisper.
She is one of 5 officers who rotate the president's nuclear authentication briefcase. She enables the launch of our most critical defense. She is the president's last line of decision.
Patricia's legs gave way. She sank to her knees in the snow, her hands covering her mouth. William stumbled forward, his face crumbling. He pulled Nicole into his arms as she shook her head in denial. Inside the cabin, Catherine's hand remained on the doorframe. Her face was unreadable, but her knuckles were white. She had spent a lifetime being invisible to them. Now they saw her, and it was annihilating. The briefcase, unseen, sat secured in the cabin, a black leather box with military seals, its red LED pulsing steadily.
Nighthawk is away. Close the door.
The door sealed with a pneumatic hiss. Catherine strapped in, her face turning to the tablet, as if the world outside had never existed. Outside, the rotors bit the air, and Marine One lifted, banking sharply against the snow. Patricia remained on her knees, her wail swallowed by the engine's roar. The family gathered at the window, breath fogging the glass. As Marine One ascended into the dusk, William pressed his hands to the pane, his tears carving rivers down the frost.
My little girl. What did we do?
Patricia stood frozen, her scream lodged in her throat. Nicole, an unblinking statue beside her. The helicopter shrank to a black speck, its lights winking out as it disappeared over the horizon. And then there was only silence, and the faint hum of the furnace, and the unbearable weight of the truth. They had never known her at all. The dining room remained untouched, half-eaten plates, melted candles, the ghost of a meal that had cracked their world open.
This is your fault, Mother. You made her feel worthless for years.
My fault? You were just as cruel, Nicole. We all were.
William sat on the couch, staring at his trembling hands, a man hollowed out. The television flickered in the corner, a news anchor's voice low and somber. Breaking news. An unspecified security situation near the Capitol. No details were being released. Patricia clutched her chest, a low moan escaping her lips, the sound of a mother, realizing she'd thrown away a diamond.
All those years, we mocked her. She was saving the world, and we called her a failure.
I should have said something. Every time, I just sat there.
The house fell silent, heavier than ever before, as the snow outside covered the footsteps of the daughter they'd lost. The next afternoon, Catherine walked up the driveway again. No uniform, just jeans and a simple sweater, her face unreadable.
Catherine, we were so worried. Please, sit. We saved you a slice of pie.
No, thank you. I didn't come for dessert. I came to tell you I won't be coming back. I spent years trying to earn your love. I don't need it anymore.
The words fell flat, but they cut deeper than any shout. Patricia's hand, reaching for the pie knife, froze midair. Catherine stood, her chair scraping the floor. She smoothed her sweater, a gesture of quiet finality.
Catherine, please. You can't just leave us. We're your family.
We're sorry, sweetheart. We didn't know. We never asked.
She walked out without a backward glance. The door closed, and the room fell into a silence deeper than the snow outside. Catherine walked down the driveway, the same path she'd arrived alone just 2 days before. Behind her, the front door remained open, a rectangle of warm light framing her family's frozen silhouettes. Patricia's outstretched hand dropped to her side, her lips forming a name the wind erased. Inside, William buried his face in his hands, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Nicole stood by the window, her reflection ghostly in the glass, the empty driveway stretching behind her. The snow had stopped, but fresh flakes were beginning to dust the footprints, softening the evidence of her departure. At the end of the street, Catherine turned the corner and disappeared from view, her stride never faltering. She left behind a house full of people she'd outgrown, and a family that had never truly seen her. The footprints in the snow grew fainter, the last visible trace of her presence slowly filling with white, and, in the silence that followed, the only sound was the whisper of a world that no longer knew her. 7 years later, the Vances' living room was unchanged, except the silence was now permanent. The breaking news banner read, Catherine Vance, appointed senior military advisor to the president. William and Patricia sat motionless on the couch, their coffee untouched, their eyes locked on the screen. Nicole walked in with a grocery bag. She saw the screen and dropped the bag, apples rolling across the floor. The screen showed Catherine in full dress blues, silver star gleaming, standing beside the president.
She did it without us. All those years we mocked her, and she became this.
She never called. Never wrote. We don't even have an address.
Nicole bent to pick up the apples, but her hands shook too much. She just knelt there, staring at the television. The broadcast moved on. The president's new advisor was already at work, a silent guardian they would never reach. And in the quiet that followed, they finally understood what they'd broken and what they'd never get back.